Awesome. 5-star diamonds. Super, super excited for this call today. Marion, first and foremost, is an amazing leader. And I have been trying to get her to jump on this call forever. And the stars have finally aligned. I know she's been busy and traveling and everything, whatnot. So it's super, super awesome because she is ranked number 33 in the network. You guys all saw that. She is a mommy of an adorable little son named Cooper, who's almost 3, correct? 2.5. Along with that, she is an Oregon girl who lives out in Vegas. Her SC base is 11.8. That is phenomenal. So super excited to get you, on this call to tell a little bit about your story and then just really how you are finding and fostering your business-minded coaches to be so successful with your business. So Marion, do you want to go ahead and take it away and start us off?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So first off, I should start off, I feel like I should do a preface by saying I'm not an expert at all. I've been a coach now for almost 1.5 years, and I know a lot of you just went to leadership and heard some awesome tips and stories, and I'm super jealous, but I'm sure I've been learning a lot from your calls. So I hope that I'm just going to share what I do and my experience, and hopefully something resonates with you, and hopefully you walk away with at least one thing that's worth writing down. But so like Brittany said, I wanted to come up with this topic for a call because I'm guessing a lot of you are like me, where this is the number one question you ask yourself: how do I find business-minded coaches? Right? That's kind of if there is a secret sauce to this business, I think it's trying to bring on business-minded people to your team and then teaching them how to do the same thing, right? So I'm going to share the first part of this call, how I approach connecting with business-minded. In my case, it's women, business-minded women. And then I'm going to dive into the second part of the call, addressing how I then, once they send me that email saying, okay, I signed up, now what I do from there, okay? So recruitment. I kind of think, I know that Rachel talked about the avatar a while back, and I love that presentation because I think we all probably have an avatar for the women or men, I shouldn't judge, but in my case, I'll just say women that we want to have on our team. So I'm a school psychologist, so I think of everything from a mental health standpoint, including the whole bell curve, okay? So I say the type of coach that I'm looking for, the woman I'm looking for, we have on the top end of the bell curve, that 2.5% is probably like you guys. They are self-starters. They're motivated within themselves. They have a vision that they have no problem getting up super early in the morning to chase. They have work ethic. If they have questions, they're going to go out there and try to find the answers first before asking someone. That's a very rare person. They're a little bit crazy. All right. We all have a little bit of crazy in us. That's what kind of, we are entrepreneurs, and that's kind of a little ingredient that you can't fake. So that 2.5% of the bell curve over here is kind of where that's what I'm trying to market to. Now, the next 25% are those women who, quite honestly, they still have those self-starter personality traits. They work hard, they have a full plate, but maybe they don't necessarily want to fly out of the gates and see how quickly they can become diamond. Sometimes they just ease into it, and I have a couple diamonds on my team that went diamond after being on the team for a year. They had to find their own pace, I guess, so to speak. So my posts are really kind of aiming towards that 27.5% of the bell curve. And then, of course, we have the middle, but that's not what I'm going for. I always try to shoot for the expectations up here, even on our team. And then if we fall a little bit below that, that's okay. We can always raise up to expectations. It's hard to do the opposite. We don't want to do the opposite. So that's where I'm posting to. So first question I ask myself is, I take a critical look at my social media probably once a week. And I ask myself some questions. And a lot of these questions I think I've heard from top coaches. And I write them down and I use them because they work. So question number 1, are you marketing yourself as a business leader? right? So I try to have at least 2 posts per week where I am maybe dropping hints or having some sort of photo or making some sort of reference to being a leader on a growing team. Question number 2, do people know you have a team? And then kind of in parentheses, do they even know what a team is? Because a team that's our language. But in business terms, they don't really know what a team is. I mean, are we playing dodgeball? Are we, is it like another challenge group? It's kind of confusing if you're not part of that Beachbody world. So sometimes I'll refer to them as entrepreneurial family or tribe of business-minded women. So I try to really change up my language to speak to the way different women would frame it in their own mind, because different things resonate with different women. But I want to make sure that the whole that team doesn't come across as too sportsy. I don't know. I guess I should say, if you guys have questions, just interrupt me. Okay. This should be more like
Marion, I have a quick question. I don't want to interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt you. You were just on a roll. You were on a roll.
I know.
Okay, you said that, are you marketing yourself as a business leader? And then you had 2 points under that. Like, did you say you have 2 posts a week? And then you said something after that and I missed it.
It's, do people know that you have a team?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to write fast. So
I'm sorry, I'll slow down.
No, you're doing so great. It's just such good. It's just great things to think about. And I'm like, my hands are they're not awake. So I'm not ready.
Okay. I just had like a thing of coffee, so I should probably slow my roll here, but
you're doing great. Okay.
So, and that's also too, I want to at least have 2 posts per week that make a reference to the tribe of entrepreneurial women or something that touches upon that fact. And again, the last question is, do people know that you can help them build a business? And that's a really key one too, because you want to position yourself as a resource, as someone who is approachable and fun, and I guess someone that they can feel a little bit vulnerable asking questions and saying, okay, tell me more. Because if you pique their curiosity enough, and you've said, this is what I do. I help other women, again, or men, build businesses from home or in their free time or fill in the blank. So again, that one too, I try to touch upon that maybe once or twice a week. That's kind of it's a hard balance because you don't want to vomit this stuff all over your Facebook page. So oftentimes I just try to reference it kind of like a product placement where you're getting off the phone with one of your coaches. So you kind of just drop a hint. But you find ways to integrate that into your social media presence to kind of tell that story.
Marion, can I ask you a question? Do you ever do a call to action, or are you I love like the subtle hints and things like that. I think it's great. Do you do a call to action?
I do 1 call to action per month. And yes, and I do that the week before our team sneak peek group.
Okay.
Which I would love to know, how often you guys do call to action, but that to me is where, hey, no, sorry, I have my son. That's what I do right now.
Okay.
Okay. So then I put on my psychologist hat and I also think about, we want to focus on not the what, but the real why. A lot of you have read, Start with Why. Our coaching, what we do, our job is just the what. I try to really focus on the why. There is an unmet need that a lot of women have, whether they're stay-at-home moms or they're busy working professionals, but there's some aspect that there's a reason they go to your page, or there's some sort of hook that we can tap into. So I have my main ones are the community of your team, belonging to a group. It's kind of, I was never in a sorority, but there's a reason sororities exist. People like to belong. And oftentimes for stay-at-home moms or people that are unhappy in their jobs, or maybe they just moved to a new city, that's a really strong pull. Another one is fitness accountability. Especially as we head towards the holiday season, that's one that I'll probably be touching upon more. Obviously, the one most of us kind of think of is income. That's the third one. And I referenced that a little bit too. Next one, helping others or adding value. A lot of people don't know how to integrate that into their day-to-day life. How do I help others? Another one too is adding a little element of fun. It's what we do is fun. And the last one is, and this is a big one, this is a life need that many people overlook, is a sense of industry. When people don't have hope, they get depressed. When they don't feel like they have a reason, a purpose, a cause to get up in the morning and chase something, they feel down. So a sense of industry is a basic human need. Okay, can you go outside, please? Okay. So a sense of industry is one too. So those are kind of things that I touch upon in social media and also in my one-on-one conversations with current challengers too.
Sorry,
okay.
I missed, can I just, sorry. When you were talking about not what, but why, what was the number 2 after belonging to a group? I missed that point.
The fitness accountability.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Is that it? Okay. Okay, so another thing too is, and you guys probably do all of this stuff, so I'm just kind of looking at the big picture, is I host, hey, get down. Stop, mommy's on call, okay? Is I only do one 21-day fixed group per month, and I limit it to 10 people. And I do that because I want to be able to make it intimate, I guess, make it so that I can really develop relationships with these women and connect with them on the reasons why they were pulled to ask me about a challenge group in the first place. And I can get to know them, and we can talk on Facebook Messenger. And then it's easier for me to, if it's appropriate, to transition them into possibly paying it forward as a coach, or maybe they want to build a business, or they have curiosity about what we do as coaches. So I have my one 21-day fixed group that's 10 people, and I would say about 4 of those come onto the team. And then I always have my month-long mixed group that I have my new coaches, they kind of run it. And those are people challengers that obviously are still in Shakeology and still working towards their goals. And I still check in there every day, but it's not a lot of work. Okay. So what else did I say here? I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything before I move on. Do you guys have any questions about what I've shared so far? Okay. So in terms of, and then also the emotional connection on our Facebook pages or whatever social media platform you find most helpful or useful, it's kind of really important, I think, and I think a lot of people lose this, is it's not about us, it's always about them. And so I try to help my new coaches see that even when we're asking a question, we ask them, like, what do you think? How do you feel? Even when we're sharing something personal about ourselves. It's that emotional connection that I think allow those kind of business-minded coaches who are so busy to feel like, okay, I can relate to her on this because she still has student loan debt, or is trying to balance a 2.5-year-old boy and potty training, and all, whatever is your avatar niche. It's important to really share that all the time. And those, again, I try to do 2 emotional posts per week. And by emotional, I don't mean gushing. I just mean keeping it real. That's it. Okay. So now my onboarding. So when I get someone that joins the team, the first thing I do is I send them a new coach welcome letter with a new coach checklist. And I know that's not rocket science, and probably a lot of you do that. But I had to ask myself, what did I like or dislike about how I was brought onto the team and that whole process. And quite honestly, I mean, I think I was part of a coaching one-on-one that lasted 30 or 60 days. After 2 days, I'm like, this is too slow. This isn't going to work. Do any of you guys, were you part of a coaching one-on-one that you're just like, that rocked my world? I'm going to be successful because of that coaching one-on-one group? Probably not. So I have the new coach checklist is it's 2 pages long and it's broken under categories. And for some people it's overwhelming, but I don't, it's not a lot of stuff, but I just kind of think if you're a self-starter and you want to kind of go at your own pace, I have women fly through that thing in 2 days and say, what's next? So the coaching 101 is only 10 posts long. And I do my coaching 101 twice a month. I do it at the beginning of the month and then 2 weeks later. And I do that because my team is consistently recruiting and I want to make sure that no one feels put off. I signed up as a coach and I had to wait 2 weeks to join this coaching 101 group. That was frustrating. So I do it twice a month, and my topics, I was just going to share with you what those are. My welcome video, I touch upon Success Club, and I touch upon the 3 vital behaviors, but I make it very clear that it's up to them to find out what those are, and it's in their new coach checklist, and to really, it's just a matter of finding 3 people per month to help with the challenge pack. That's what we say. And really, the content of the Coaching 101 is just to help get their feet wet, but they're going to learn by doing. None of this is stuff that you could just like read a book and then you're like, okay, I'm going to be successful now as a coach because I read everything and listened to every wake-up call. So my topics are post number 1, we share our why. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, he found the garbage truck that I think Rachel's son found when you were doing your call. And that's too loud, honey. Okay. Let's grab this. Miss Mommy needs this. I know. We'll get it right back. Okay.
So funny. By the end of my team calls, I always have like a stack of all the noisy trucks on the table.
It's on the table. So sorry, you guys. So number 1 is our why. They all have to comment and share their why, and I give my example. Number 2, we do the memory jogger exercise. Number 3 is social media basics. Number 4 is a sample social media post to announce their new venture on their Facebook page. And then their uplines are responsible for checking in and seeing their posts and helping them define it. Number 5 is how to follow up and respond to inquiries, because oftentimes people will announce what they're doing and then they're like, you guys ever get those messages like, oh shiz, what do I do now? People are writing me. I don't know what to do. So we tell them what to do. And so how to follow up and respond, and how to actually process a sale is number 6. I should say for number 5, how to follow up and respond, a lot of that is helping them see not to focus on the product. It's really changing the subject and saying, yeah, we can talk about the 21-day fix, but first tell me what makes you interested right now. And asking questions. And I touch a lot upon counseling techniques because that's my background. And I feel like we have to take care of the individual first and find out why they're interested before we can even talk about a product. Number 7 is starting conversations with people, scripts. Number 8 is time management and organization. Post 9 is planning your calendar month. And then post 10 isn't even a topic. It's a choose your own adventure. The next step for kind of letting the people that want to run, the sprinters, sprint, is that at this point, you can choose 2 things. And you can choose both. My sprinters choose both. Number 1 is a social media boot camp. That's just also 10 days long. And then my sprinters, they can choose a 10 days to Emerald group. And the prerequisite for joining the Emerald group is saying, at the end of these 10 days, I will be Emerald. And a lot of them sign their spouse up and they just try to work. We work with them trying to sign a challenger up with a challenge pack. And then I should say, during these 10 posts, I also do a Zoom call with all new coaches where I answer some questions and we can kind of, I can tell inappropriate jokes. They can get to see that I'm a real person and I'm not this thing, that just hits publish on these posts. And I can also answer a lot of their questions right there. And I can also pull up their Facebook pages and give them some ideas and some feedback.
There you go.
Okay, so I should say, please don't do that. Sorry. The last thing that I do is we have a boss club group, and I'm not a big fan of push groups. I don't know about you guys, but they never really seem to be very effective. I'm sorry. Hey, stop. But my boss club, I'm not ready to lock my son outside. Would that be like the neighbors calling? Hey, here. Can you go outside? I'm so sorry. Boss Club group are people that are dedicated to the activities that would naturally result in diamond before a certain time frame. So right now, they're committed to the activities that would result in diamond before the end of the calendar year. And this is a self-run group. The whole Facebook timeline is Monday, 5 names of people that are posting once a week. Tuesday is the name of those people. So they only have 1 day where they have to check into that group and talk about what they're doing, what's going on, what's working. And then they don't have to check in if they don't want to. But I just check into that group and click like and maybe comment on a few things, but it's not up to me to actually post anything. They're in charge of their own business. So that's a really effective group too. And I should say that there are parameters. So at the end of this month, they have to be a certain far enough along in their business that they have to stay in the group. So I think they have to have 5 coaches and hit Success Club 5 by the end of this month. So I kind of filter people out because we all have the people who say, yes, I'm committed, but then, and I really want to make sure that the caliber of women in that group are the ones that are the action doers and not the ones that just talk about it. Oh, Cooper, can you please do that outside? Oh, I think I lost you guys for a second.
You're good. You were frozen, but it was fun.
Okay.
You're good.
So I think, top coach, I think I touched upon a lot of these things. Do you guys have any questions about stuff?
Marion?
Sorry. You want to go?
I was just going to say maybe like in the group you could, the boss club, I would love to like hear more just about what you're focusing on in that group. But maybe you could just post that in the mastermind group as like something later so you don't have to spend too much time on it. But I think that's really great. I just don't know how, like we've done kind of little push groups before in the past, but they seem to fizzle out even when people are so solidly committed to wanting to be diamond. So I'm never going to throw that idea just off the table because I think it does work, but I'm always really appreciative of any ideas that are working for that.
Yeah, I'll post the timeline banner in the group page so you guys can see how it's laid out. And it's pretty clear, but I was nervous about it, but now it's been awesome. So yeah.
And then that's awesome. Okay, thank you. That would be great. And then my other question is, how many hours a week do you think you're working right now?
In my ideal world, I would work all the time, but I work. I mean, up at 5:30. Cooper gets up at 8. So I probably work 5 hours a day ish.
Okay. So with the 2 times a week or the 2 times a month that you're doing the Coach 101, and then at the same time you have running what was the other group? The social media boot camp and the 10 days to Emerald.
Yes, but they're all in documents. So all I'm doing is copy and pasting everything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you go in and just comment on your personally sponsored coaches stuff, or do you try to comment on everybody's stuff?
I comment on the people that are showing that they're doing the work, like the thoughtful. Okay. Yeah. So, and I will Facebook Messenger my PS coaches who aren't participating and say, what's up?
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So you're on top of this, and then I'm just trying to get an idea because I was like thinking, okay, and I also have my Beachbody Challenge group I do, and my sneak peek that I do, and my freemium that I do. And then if I added, I love the idea of doing a 10 post, because I do a 10-day boot camp, but it's all sent to their email.
Oh.
So it all just goes to them, and then they do it as, on their own time. But I think the interaction is important, and I think that, having more of engagement is really valuable too. And then, but the social media boot camp and the 10 days to Emerald, like that's really also, that would be great too. So I don't know. It's a lot to think about, but I love it. It's great.
It seems overwhelming, but really it takes me 10 minutes to copy and paste for each of those groups.
Have the systems in place. Yeah.
And then later in the evening, I check in and comment and like on a few things.
Okay.
But it really is, I think I talk a lot about with my business-minded coaches to work smarter, not harder. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the real true heart of what we do as coaches doesn't change very much. I may update things with a new video, but I'm just copying and pasting, and I give that to them too to use for their own groups, because they should fly the nest and do their own thing too. So
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had a question too on your boss club group, because I am kind of the same as Kim said. I run a lot of different groups and they seem to fizzle. So I was wondering why, like, if that one's not fizzling, like, do you know of some, like, because I've done incentives, I've done like all sorts of different things. It just seems to kind of, is it because also when I've tried to kick people out, then it's like really disheartening, and then they kind of like, so I'm just wondering, like, your general guideline for that group. How long have you been running it? And then what has been successful keeping them going, I guess?
I think it's a hard question, because when at the end of this month, when I do remove people that didn't hit the qualification, they're still, I get it, it's disappointing, but at the same aspect, I made it very clear in the beginning of the group, like, this is for sprinters and you just got to do your best to get there, but don't take it personal. Nothing in this business is personal. And I'll add them to, he's trying to get me to play cards now. But I think the fact that I'm respecting their time by just having them post one time a week, and they can see from these other women who are like, just sign 2 coaches up, hit Success Club. Oh, that's another thing. On our team, we don't try to hit Success Club by the 15th. We make it the 10th. So I celebrate who's hitting Success Club with me by the 10th of every single month. And that is all of my leaders and all the people that are sprinters. That's a goal that we all share and we all go for. Because then what happens is all the people that are working their business end up hitting it by the 15th anyway, because they've been trying to hit it by the 10th. But I digress. I think when I share the timeline of the Boss Club group, that will help show you guys what the feel is. And I'll talk a little bit more about what the content looks like on our page too. Maybe that'll help.
Great, thank you.
I have a question for you. I'm curious, when you are talking to your coaches, up and coming leaders, because we talked a lot about this at leadership, like working with your up and coming leaders, what does your accountability with those people sound like? Like the ones that are all in, like maybe they're doing half the work. Like if you're doing a little check-in with them, this is probably like my biggest struggle in the business. So I always like to hear from other people.
Like, how do I check in with them? Like,
what is that? Like, hey, you said that we were going to be working on our social media on this, and I'm noticing it's not happening. Like, what does that kind of conversation sound like?
So I'm really inappropriate. Like a lot of the women that are attracted to join my team are, I always kind of say, we're like men with ovaries. Like my check-in with them is like, what's up, biatch? I just wanted to see how you're doing. I saw that you have just got back from vacation. Talk to me, what's going on? It's not anything like, I don't want them ever to feel like I'm looking over their shoulder or I'm holding them accountable, because the only person holding them accountable is them. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is a counseling technique where I can say, you know, maybe I'm missing something, but I thought last month you talked about doing X. Right now I'm seeing this. What's going on here? What am I missing? And then when you ask them, what am I missing? Then they'll share with you maybe something personal is going on in their life. Maybe they are doing personal development or they're not working out. And then you can help give them some support there. But really, I'm just asking that you said this, I'm seeing this, or it looks like Success Club is a little hard for you right now. What's going on?
What about, okay, because that's like story of my life right now. Like I can say that to them, but then like it's like round two. Like, hey, we're having the same conversation again. Like, do you go there? Do you know, I'm trying to like give them hope and things like that. And I want to be accountable in some way. But I was just curious, what would the second time sound like for you?
I actually don't, this is going to sound bad, but if they're not responding that way and they're not changing what they're doing, then a lot of my effort goes into finding new energy. And I know that sounds bad, but I have a top coach of the week every Monday that I celebrate. And oftentimes it's my newer coaches that are success starters or the people that are hitting Success Club out of the gate on the 10th. And if people are kind of fizzling out like that and they aren't responding, or I may check in with them again in a week or so and keep it light, but I'm not, I'm going to look around to find out who else I can find to take their place. Okay. That's hard. That's a hard place to be.
I know. Okay.
That's the sucky thing about this business is that our success oftentimes is predicated on the success and determination of others. I want control.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Sorry.
Colleen, I'll just add to that because I think Marion is it's totally true. Like I have 4 kids and I homeschool, and you know, I have a family to take care of, and I can't give myself and my time to somebody who's not gonna, you know, reflect that back to me. And it does sound really cold and kind of harsh. And I do like to message them, or actually not message them. That's when I really get them on the phone. And that's when I really get real with them. And I'm like, hey, you know, I believe in you, and you know, I see your potential and your greatness, because otherwise you wouldn't be on my team and you wouldn't be, you know, my coach. But hold on one second. It's about to get loud in here. And so that's when I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you a coach? What do you want? What do you want out of this? And I just ask them that. I'm like, what do you want? Do you want to be financially, what do you want to make a month? Right? What do you want to make a week? And I just ask them those questions. And then when they, you know, either they're going to be honest with you and say, oh, I just want to pay for my shake, I'm not sure. Or, you know, they're going to say, yeah, I want to be making $1,000 a month, or whatever it is. Then I can either back off and go, okay, this is no longer me because they don't want it. Or, you know, then I know how to help them a little bit better, I guess. I don't know. But that phone call seems to be the next step past the messaging, because the messaging only goes so far. But if I can get them on the phone, then I can kind of figure it out more, I guess. I don't know.
Can I add something to that too? One of the things that stuck out to me from leadership the most was the question of, because I think it's so easy to get into like, what do you want from the business, or like even like income or whatever, because like that's what because we're past that point of like the why. But like someone said, instead of talking about business goals, say, what do you want the vision of your life to look like?
Oh, I love that. Yes.
And then you can figure out how Beachbody can connect the dots. and actually give them goals, because if they just focus on goals, like diamond isn't that big of a deal, and diamond doesn't mean that much money, and so it's not motivating for people. Or if they drop their diamond, maybe they'll lose $8. So it's like, not that like, what's your goal? Oh, to hold diamond so I can have my extra $8. It's like, what is the vision of your life? Like the woman, was it Leslie who talked about like the furniture for her baby, you know, like that's the vision that she wanted. And then once you get that straight, like that's such a bigger why, then you connect the like goals to it. And because that's the thing I needed for my people, because I kept being like, why do you want to hit Success Coach? And they're like, they don't really care because they make $150. Like that's not what Connect, but it's like, what do you want your life to look like? And that was like a huge, like, that's something I'm excited to take to people and say like, let's go back from square one. And like,
what's your life mission? What's your life vision? I went, actually, when she said that, I went and actually messaged like quite a few coaches and was like, you guys, what is your vision for your family? What's your vision for your life? Because even that phone call just seemed to be sometimes not even working. I loved it when she said, thank you for reminding me about that.
That and like one other thing just popped into my mind. Do you guys ever listen to Esther Hicks? She's like this crazy, these old school like tapes. I just found her on iMusic, but she talks about this idea of relationships, and the reason that relationships don't work is because two people come in with different ideas. And you'll have to find the iTunes. I'll see if I can find the iTunes. But basically, like she talked about, like Colleen, like if you're having like pressure, because I feel like that with a lot of my people, and I'm trying to take it back, is because we've decided for them what we want from them, and they haven't decided that. And so it's that vision talk that like if you like take out all your goals for them, and more than just like the idea of like don't place goals on people, it's like a bigger thing, like take it back to them like they were brand new and saying, what is that vision? You can create a vision together that you're on board with too, instead of, because like that's so easy to just to place, you know, the potential of what you see for them, but they haven't decided that. And so that's, I think, where a lot of that friction comes from, is starting over and like deciding what they want like together, instead of just you putting what you want and them saying what they want, because then we're not giving them what they need either, just like they're not giving us what we need. So you have to look up Esther Hicks though. She's so crazy. She's like a Power of Now kind of person. Like just like she's like sounds like a nut, but she's amazing.
I love all this collaboration. I'm just sitting back and listening. Sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. I want to just piggyback on that too, that point about, you know, your vision for your life, because that's something that I have honestly, you know, been really struggling with. I talked to Brittany about this. I hope I don't get emotional now. You know, I am very fortunate to have a husband who, you know, he has a great job. He makes a lot of money. He's always going to work. So like retiring him is not an option. When I think about the vision for my life, it's always going to include my husband working. And so when I think about kind of where I am for my business and why I do this, I've really, really been struggling the last few months and questioning whether I want to do this anymore, which is crazy. Oh God. And so I had some really deep conversations with some people this weekend, and you know, listening to Brigitte and Amy and Becky and Anita, and how they all wanted to quit at like 14 star. It was like, what? You know, it's not just me. And, you know, I really had to take a step back, because I don't know what I need to figure out, what my why is in all of this, what my why is for this business, because, you know, a lot of people, their why is more time with their family. But honestly, if I didn't have Beachbody, I'd probably have more time with my family without Beachbody, because I would be a stay-at-home mom no matter what. So that's not a why for me. And so Summer Tucker, she is like my great grandma coach. And so I sat down, had a really long conversation with her at the final party. And she said, you know, what does your perfect day look like? Like not your vision for your family, not your vision for life, because I'm really struggling with that. But a perfect day, you know, what would that perfect day look like? And so I'm really taking some time now after leadership to sit down and figure that out, you know, not just life in general, but just one day. And one day, you know, might include a vacation where my husband does actually have off. You know, what do I want that to look like? And I want to be able to pay for that vacation, not my husband. And, you know, I want to be able to pay to go on a boat trip that my husband, loves to be on the water. And, it's those kinds of things. So if you have people that are struggling with, why in this business, because that's really hard. And again, that's something that I personally have been really struggling with. I'm taking a step back and just really focusing on one day. So that might be helpful for some people too, who are just kind of trying to figure out, because a lot of our new coaches don't know what this business can be. They don't know what kind of life this business can offer them. So focusing on just one singular perfect day, might be helpful just to kind of really drill it down. So something I have to work on. But thank you all for being here, because, I tell Brittany all the time, listening to you guys, this kind of group and your energy is what keeps me going. So sorry to get emotional again.
Thank you for sharing. I know that was a big thing for you to do, Rachel, because I know you've been keeping it inside. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
I had a technical question to go back. So Marion, you talked about, hey, great job. And don't ever discount. You're I'm new. It's no, you're so valuable. You're a great teacher and you're super fun. I wanted to ask you, so I really struggle with whether I do a challenge group just for people I bring into the business or for my team. And I want to do them for my team because I feel the more the merrier. I have this abundance mentality. It's I don't need to even other coaches on other teams, let's run something together, because you get ideas, and the more you bring, I think the better when there's more people, because there's more action and there's more people who are going to meet. But I struggle because I don't want to enable my coaches and just say, well, I'll do the posts and I'll do this, and I try to stay away from that. But I know you said you do one that's just 10 people only. So is that just you running with 10 brand new customers, or how does that work? And how do you I'm just always afraid, the people who are on the, obviously the people who are going to run their own challenge groups are just going to do it. But the people who are kind of in that intermittent phase, that's actually really helpful for them to see a challenge group and to be halfway a part of it, instead of me saying I'm doing my own and you're doing your own. So can you just speak a little on that, Marion, of how that works?
Yes. So my 21-day fix group is, just 10 new customers that want to do the 21-day fix or extreme with me, and I'm the only coach in there. So the number of people in the group is always 11. And I do that because I have had the huge groups, and my new ones get lost and they disappear, and it's hard for me to keep track of them too, and to see if they're posting. And so that's that. And that's also me focusing on my business too, to hit Success Club for that piece. So right now I have my Oktoberfest. I have a theme every month for 30 days. And I have new coaches co-host that group with me. So for your question, when you have those coaches who have maybe they're 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months into it, and they don't have enough people for their own group, I do it on a case-by-case basis, because like what you guys have said, some people don't have that lifestyle vision of hosting their own group, but yet they have maybe 2 challengers a month. So I know that if they have a heavy workload, I'm just take your people and add them here. Don't overthink it. But then I have the coaches that I have coaches that are high up, going for diamond, that want to use my group. And I don't let that happen, because I'm yeah, no, you know better than, you can host your own group. It's not rocket science. You know how to do it by now. So that's my approach, is I kind of make it lighthearted and then encourage them to fly the nest there. But it's only for my new group, my new coaches. And I also make a video for my new coaches on how to co-host with me. He wants me to clean, apparently.
Cool. Thank you. That's really helpful.
We have time for maybe one more question, or anything else you guys want to bring to the table.
Marion, in addition to that, the info about the Boss Club group, I would love to see what a typical calendar looks like for you, and when you're starting all these things, because I have a bunch of different groups and it's very overwhelming to then think about adding other things. So I'm wondering, I know you said they kind of roll themselves and you have your set posts, but I'm wondering, in a calendar form, kind of when you start all of these.
I'll publish that also on the 5-star page.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, I'm going to just wrap it up. Thank you, ladies, first of all, for your collaboration with this mastermind group today. Marion, that was such a great topic. I know we've all have wondered, what are you doing to be so successful? And I guess what you are doing is you have a system, you duplicate it. It's obviously very easily duplicatable. And the fact that you have almost 12 coaches hitting Success Club every single month, that is a huge success. So congrats to you and your team. Thank you for sharing with us today. And I hope all of you have an amazing day. Bye.
Thanks, Brittany.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.